Hey, atheist, come here. I got a secret to tell you. Shh. Don't tell anybody this. It's about a surefire way to trip up most Christians. It's a little secret I'm telling you. That a lot of pastors know it, but they're too scared of losing their money to say anything. First things first, do not ask them a series of questions, but do not ask them the main ones until the very end. Do not let them know that this is what you're going to ask them. The first couple questions you ask them, do you believe what the epistles say about sin? Sin. That the law tells us what sin is, and that sin is a violation of the law. And that where there is no law, there is no sin. They'll say yes. Then you ask them, do you believe what the law says? That it is a sin to add to or take away from it? Most of them will say yes to that too. Okay. Those are the main setup questions. And then you go on and ask them, so you believe that violating Exodus 21:10 is a sin? Now, most of them's not going to know what that verse is. But, shh, I'm going to let you know what it is. It says, I'll make sure nobody's around to hear this. It says that if a man takes another wife, then her food, clothing, and sex, he shall not decrease. Now, you didn't hear this from me. Just remember that. Which you start seeing them lose their minds about this. Because you done caught them in a trap. You see? Because they believe that anything outside monogamy is a sin. Now, here's one of the few things, here's what they'll go to. They'll say, yes, but you see, Christ changed that. It's no longer. But you've already got them to admit that it would be a sin for anybody to change that law. And they'll go to Matthew 19. Be one of the first things they go to. After you done got them to admit that it's a sin to change the law. So they go there. You tell them, but didn't Christ himself say that I have not come to change the law, to do away with the law, but to fulfill the law? Which means he didn't do away with the law because he said he didn't come to do away with the law. You get where I'm getting at? That which will frustrate them even more. And then they'll say, but Matthew 19, he changed it and made it monogamy only. Here's the problem with that. That might suggest you go and read it. But it's about divorce, not anything else. And in fact, if you read the whole thing where he was asked whether it is lawful to divorce your wife for any reason, and you do just a little bit of research, you find that he actually never changed the divorce law. Well, they said, but he put creation above the law. But then you got him again. But you just agreed with me that sin is a violation of the law. You got them there. And then when they say that Christ changed it, but you just look a little bit, just a wee bit, and read a little farther, it says in Matthew 19 that the only reason for divorce is fornication. But right here's the thing, which is what the Old Testament law says. It literally says that you can only divorce your wife for uncleanness. And at the time Jesus was around, there were two views on that verse. One, which was what the people who were asking him actually believed, is that you could divorce your wife for any reason, even if it's just something as simple as she burned your toast. The other one believed that uncleanness meant fornication. So you see how Jesus used the creation. If you actually read it, you'll see that he goes back to creation, and they say that proves their point. But he actually uses creation to confirm the law. I know. No. And then they'll go on and pull out some BS about elders and bishops. It says that a bishop or an elder must be the husband of one wife. So that proves that it's wrong for everybody. But here's a problem with that. It's only for at most it's only for bishops and elders. In fact, you read in the next about a verse or two down from that whereas those verses say that they must be the husband of one wife, and you read what the deacon says, what it says about the deacons. It says, let the deacons be the husband of one wife. Which basically means they are allowed to be the husband of one wife. They don't have to, but they're just simply allowed. So you see the discrepancy there. And then they'll go back to the Old Testament, which they will also already probably done said that that's been done away with, even though they already agreed that sin is a violation of the law, and that where there is no law, there is no sin, which basically means that if the law doesn't call something a sin, it's not a sin. So you kind of got them there too. But they'll go back to what is, I believe, 1 Kings, where it says, a king shall not multiply horses, wives, or gold upon himself. And they'll say, see, that proves that from that the law says it's a sin. But hold on there. It specifically says kings. But if you say that makes it a sin for a king to have multiple wives, and that applies to everybody, does that mean it's also a sin to have more than one piece of money or more than one piece of transportation? I'm sorry, honey and kids. Kids, you don't get a bike because I've got a car to get back and forth to work. And by the law, it's a sin to have more than one piece of transportation. Oh, you get no allowance either, because we only get this $1 out of 40 hours a week. We have to donate the rest because 1 Kings says that it's a sin to have more than one piece of money. You get where I'm getting at now? The trout's done sprung. So, in other words, you've been going at them all wrong. And later I'll have something else, another secret for you. But shh. And I'll give you a hint. When you're trying to disrupt Christians about slavery, don't go to the Old Testament. Go to the New.